Hi, I'm Callie,
Hi, I'm Tabitha.
and this is
And
Astro Alchemy. All right, we will be discussing today the new moon in Sagittarius energy that will be coming up in a few days, actually, just under a week. Today is November 16th, and it is a last quarter moon today. And we're doing a recording for all signs. So in the link below, you can check your rising sign and you'll be transported to where this energy will be bringing about newness and Jupiterian energy for you for the coming month. We'll be moving out of Scorpio energy, which is ruled by a retrograde Mars right now. And also today, Venus has moved into Sagittarius. So things are already shifting. And the last quarter moon that we're in today, as we're recording, brings about the realization that we don't operate the same every month. So at this point in time, the energy is shifting. Darkness of the moon's face begins to increase, and she's not as visible during the nighttime sky. So I'm going to put up the transits right now.
while
And
you're, I'm just going to give a quick public service announcement.
perfect.
If you don't have your rising sign, we do recommend that you go by your rising sign. If you don't have it, you can go to astro.com and cast a chart. Or you can also look up or watch the video that corresponds with your sun sign or your moon sign. It may not be as accurate, but you'll still get some valuable information.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that, Tabitha. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see the transits. And we're going to start with Aries. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to back it up so we can start with Aries.
There we go.
Perfect. So just to start, Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and he is in his home sign of Pisces, which is very good because his dignity and strength will support this area of your life, Aries, and for all signs as well. So the area that this new moon phase will be generated from will be your ninth house, which is a divination house. It is higher education. And it's also the place where you connect with spirit and higher spirit. This is a trine to your ascendant. So it's a very, very trines are also the energy of Jupiter as well. So do you have any oracle reading that you'd like to present for Aries today?
So, and also, I would say if you're looking for ways to help you tap into that higher spiritual information, like if you're feeling a little blocked, and these are just recommendations. If they don't resonate, feel free to to follow your own intuition. But I would say frankincense would be great to work with, or selenite, or even doing something like yoga to just kind of clear your entire energetic field. But I'm going to pull a card from the moon deck here. Let's see that.
Oh, I love
And
that.
we'll see what the oracle has to say. Okay. Oh my gosh. You cannot make this up. I got an archer.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I love it. So,
That's incredible.
Sagittarius energy right there.
Yeah.
Um, the card is about focusing on what is working, which is always a good message.
Oh my
It's like
gosh.
pouring your energy into what is going right instead of, worrying about what's going wrong.
Yes, there's actually also an archer pose in yoga as well. And that focus and that clarity that comes with the focus.
Mhm.
I love that. And it's
Well, there's
adventure
something
energy
in
as
this
well.
card too. I don't know if you're seeing this in the astrology, but this full moon in the card, the full moon being a sign of like completions, like something coming to an end, like a cycle being completed. I don't know if that's reflected in the astrology somewhere.
Well, I think of it as there's going to be a full moon energy that is going to touch down with this Mars in Gemini. And the Mercury in Sagittarius can be a little bit scattered in its expression, but adventurous. But at the same time, it's a double-bodied sign, and it is the place where Mercury is exiled. So I can see where focus would be absolutely useful for Aries in this case, and for all signs, and just for Sagittarius as a representation. So,
Yeah, I mean, focusing on what you want and then, just going for it. I mean, I feel like just even the symbolism of how she's holding the bow and arrows, like aim high, like she's like shooting like into the sky.
oh,
So
incredible.
yeah, just go for it.
Yeah, see what happens throughout the month, and as you're building towards the full moon, if there is some sort of adventure that would nourish your higher self that you want to be bold and aim for, even if it is not an instant gratification. Maybe it's something that involves others and even local travel, anything that has to do with aiming for your purpose and connecting with that higher purpose.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. So let's see for Taurus, we'll move it ahead. The new moon energy is highlighting your eighth house of other people's money. And this is a transformation house. It is called like the death house. Um, it is averse to the ascendant. So, in some way, is there a new form of connecting with other people's money, investments, and how that can foster your connection to community because the ruler is there, and how you can invest in yourself, how you're doing that, how you can clear out and transform. So themes of eighth house matters and newness in that way. And maybe there's a little bit of miscommunication. Mercury in its exile there. You may see themes of that throughout the month as the full moon comes to fruition. So do you have a card for Taurus rising?
On her card. And I would also say to work with, if you need a little extra assistance, a little extra boost, just working with animal totems, that have transformational energy, like the snake with like the shedding of the skin, or the butterfly, that transformation from the caterpillar, and see what kind of things that brings up for you. As far as messages from the cards, it's a very yogic card. So it's the rhythm of my breath directs the rhythm of my life. And I'll show it to you in a second, but it's a person breathing, and she's got constellations like going down on her chest as well. If you can see you can't see them clearly, but these are constellations.
Like a
Ah, green screen. Um, so yeah, just this connection, our breath with this pranic energy, the energy within us and all around us, and all the way to the galactic stars. It's just like connection.
I love that. Transformations and connecting with the breath. The eighth house is also things that we release, that we let go of, waste. So
Mm-hmm.
clearing out is a theme. And every time that we breathe in and out, we are letting go. So the reminder of that, I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. Well, it's a clearing and a letting go, but then it's also this like speaking of the cycle of life, you know, this exchange with the trees, you know, of
Yeah.
like giving off the carbon dioxide, taking in the oxygen. Um, it's like what we're releasing is nourishing something else and vice versa. And this going back to this like rhythm of the breath, rhythm of life, rhythm of the energy. So just like this energetic exchange happening as well.
Oh, I love that. I was just also reminded when you were talking about how eighth house, like sexual energy, how like orgasms are like a tiny death as well. So this is
I had not
sexuality
heard that
house.
before.
Yeah, yeah. So even when we hold the breath and when we become more aware of the breath and when we do yogic breathing, we're holding the breath that is like a small, close, we're close to death in that way. So death and transformation house and themes of money throughout the month and how that will be also be highlighted as the full moon energy comes near the end of the month. And there will be an intimate tie between this Mars and Gemini energy again. So let's move on to Gemini rising. So for Gemini, this new moon is happening in the seventh house of business partnerships, of spouses, long-term spouses, even open enemies. So you may see themes of any one of those, sometimes all, depending on how how it correlates. But there's also a connection between your seventh house and 10th house energy. So I'm seeing this as maybe even pointing towards like business partnerships as well because of this connection between the 10th and the 7th. So is there a time for adventure? Is there a time for newness? Because there's this really lovely connection between Jupiter and Venus. So both benefics are in connection throughout the month. And maybe some, miscommunications with exiled Mercury and business partnerships. And you have a retrograde Mars in your first house that's there for quite a while. So themes of focus, other people's, I don't know if am I still here? Yeah. Other people in your life, and a newness in this area for you. Do you have an oracle deck, oracle reading?
Thumbs up for general. My home is a sacred space full of beauty, inspiration, and protection. Oh, it's so interesting that it says and protection because as you were speaking, I was thinking of protective crystals. Um, which is just the whole idea, like the open enemies and stuff like that. So if you have protective crystals, I recommend working with them. Especially since it comes up in this card as well. So the card is a sage bundle surrounded by crystal points, and then there's also a candle, and then well, there's some flowers as well, and then two crescent moons back to back.
Oh, wow. I was
Yeah.
just reflecting when you started talking to on how the new moon energy itself is right next to a balsamic phase and how there is this pressure that I feel during a balsamic phase. So with this seventh house balsamic phase, that's then brings in this newness. I'm always contemplating during those times that I'm sometimes tired because I'm moving out and letting go of something. And then as the new moon comes, I'm tired for a different reason, like I'm just waking up.
That is
So,
so
so there's this seventh house newness. And sometimes is there a fight or some sort of tension, but is there clarity and is there a new newness that comes, a new form of understanding?
yeah.
Is there
Well,
a
I
new
think it
form of
does.
adventure as well?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought you were, didn't mean to talk over you.
Okay.
I also, think this idea of like where you're expressing with like the tiredness and everything, like the home being a sacred place is like a place to retreat to, you know, that is protective and protected, and you're safe, and you can, you know, find beauty in rest and in resting up. So absolutely.
Yeah, I think this Mercury and Gemini, sorry, Mercury and Sagittarius, it's okay to say something wrong and then, you know, go back and contemplate and get really clear about what you want to say. Maybe there's jumbled words or there's a lot that is coming out, and sometimes it doesn't have to be perfect. You can go back and say what you really feel and what's on your mind. And
Right.
sometimes the mistakes that we make in our expression can create a higher level of understanding. So,
You can also work with mercury stones to try to minimize that, like fluorite, hematite, just things to kind of amplify your communication as well.
oh, I love
So,
that.
blue stones.
Yes, and there will be an opposition between Mercury and Gemini at the, um, I'd say maybe 10 days later after this new moon. So there's going to be themes of that, and that will also correlate with the full moon. All right. Cancer. The new moon is going to be highlighted in the sixth house, which is called the joy of Mars. So it's that hardworking work house energy. Um, there's Venus and Mercury here, and so a newness in how you work, in the way that you work, and there's some connection here between working hard and ninth house energy. So are you working hard for some higher purpose? Are there women around that are here to support you in these new themes and new ways of doing things in the work house? And maybe there could be themes of, you know, miscommunications uh involved in, or even like the trickster is kind of not able to express himself correctly right now. But this vibe that for the month is going to involve hard work and themes of uh, working through this place in your mind, this 12th house energy, with Mars, this kind of like deeply cycle. I don't know what's wrong, but there's something in the closet that I want to clear out, going over past trials, tribulations, ways of communicating, um, are going to be a part of this sixth house story and this reset that's happening in the sixth house. What are the oracle cards saying for Cancer?
Let's find out. Oh, interesting.
What do
We've
you
got
see?
some crows here.
I love
I
crows.
trust the mystery of life. Well, that's a very 12th house themed of stepping into the unknown and not quite sure what that
Uh,
mystery holds. But yeah, I think especially since you just spoke to the 12th house, um, and there's a full moon in the picture as well, just maintaining that trust in you know, that it's all everything's gonna end up being okay.
oh
Um,
yes.
and then I can't specifically recall what the magic of crows, but do you know what they're about their symbolism? I can look it up real quick.
I think they're messengers, and they're very, very, very intelligent. And I think that really spans across different cultures as well.
It definitely does. Definitely does. Oh, here we go. Transformation, psychic abilities. Those are very 12th house themes. Adaptability, cleverness, intelligence, teamwork, reciprocity.
Absolutely.
Those are
This
just some of the that's just some of the symbolism of the Black Crow as well.
Yes, and Jupiter entering his home sign of Pisces and, co-present with Neptune. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if people become more sensitive or um, channel during this new moon because there's dignity between Jupiter and supplying this energy and resources for this
Mhm.
area. So have you been contemplating, have you been grinding? Like, has there been more work and less play? And maybe there's a Venusian adventurer that can maybe help you through and shift some of this for you. And maybe there's a moment to um, connect with the messenger, Mercury.
Absolutely. And it's about like not needing to have all of the answers and just preparing for the downloads and trusting that that information will come.
Absolutely. And a balsamic moon in this area as well. Um, I highly recommend on the day before the 22nd, 21st, 22nd to acknowledge your energy if you do need a little bit of rest, especially because it's in this workhouse and contemplating at that time, bringing in um, into your awareness, you know, women or mercurial fun people that could assist you in this area if you do need a break or a laugh. All right, I'm going to move forward. Leo rising, this new moon is happening for you in the fifth house, this creative space. This puts Venus in her joy. Um, this new moon energy highlighting creative downloads and with the dispositor Jupiter being in the eighth house of transformation, how do fifth house matters, creativity and transformation? How does that help you transform? How does letting go of something allow room for more creativity in your life? And how does this display come through with community through it? And how do these areas tie in when the full moon happens at the end of the month? So I see for this Mercury in exile, the messages are there. It's okay to just let the muse, go wild and allow these mercurial, like kind of trickster energy infuse this area that is very muse-like and allow the creativity to have a mind and a feeling of its own and without judgment and to have a create space for flow in this area. So
Absolutely.
eighth house vibes with this Neptunian energy. Have you been wanting to tap into um, any kind of magic or clearing that comes through that and creating space for this creative energy to come through? And I'm interested to see what card you pull for Leo.
I'm going to go ahead and pull a card for our Leonine friends, but I would also say, this whole idea of letting go and creating space for new things to come in. Sometimes it helps when we do that on a physical level. It helps that to happen on an energetic level. So, if you need to go through and clear your closet, clear old files on your computer or old emails or any area of your life or multiple areas that you can clear to create room for those new things to come in, it will help on an energetic level as well.
Yes, and this is a very strong place for Venus to be. So, like in the terms of the tiers of how we are bringing this information to you, we look at the ruler of the planet, but because this Venus energy is happening in the fifth house, it kind of puts like a gold star on Venus and this extra boost of power for her at this time. So, I mean, it's great for romance for Leo, adding adventure, or even a girlfriend. I have one of my best girlfriends has Venus in Sagittarius, and the how we fill our cup is by going on road trips and finding creative spots on the side of the road to go and check out. And so that could just be an example. Like Venus could be another person in your creative sphere. Going to a local show, like a music show, I think is in the cards for me 2 days after. So I find it really interesting. I'm a Leo moon, so I think about how, like, oh, for Leo, maybe this is, my natal moon phase or moon sign, excuse me, kind of giving a little bit of a wink and a nod.
For sure. So the card that we have is meet resistance with kindness. So it kind of makes me think of like this idea of creating space and letting go, like there being some like resistance of like, oh, like, can I let this one thing go? Like, can I release it? Or I want to release it, but I don't know how to release it. And just meeting that resistance with kindness. And then the card also, so it's got on her spine, which the spine in the back is very Leonine energies right there, parts of the body ruled by Leo. But then also the symbol of, I don't know if you can see it clearly, the symbol of the butterfly tattooed toward the cervical area. So the top of the spine, like just below her neck, like the butterfly also being the symbol of transformation and creativity. So I feel like something in this card is just like, it may not be as easy as it sounds. It's like the potential for this transformation is there, but it's like there's some resistance to it. Like there's something that, and I don't even know if it's like a resistance in like doing the work as so much as like intuitively I'm just getting this like, but I don't know how. Like I want to let go, but I don't know how. Like I want to create space, but I'm not sure how. And just meeting that with kindness, knowing that like the answers they'll come.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth. Like, not knowing how to make that first step, but once you do, it kind of writes the way forward. So
Mhm.
there is an adventure, maybe there's, maybe a stumbling of words or it's not going to look perfect on the way to get there. The trickster is kind of acting out here in your fifth house, but maybe there's a new style of how you are creative and how eighth house matters can really facilitate that movement forward.
Are you
So
getting any? I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, no, what was the question?
Are you getting anything in the chart that would actually like physically affect the back area, like any type of like placement in Mars or anything? I'm just curious because it was very striking,
Mm,
that we're like just looking at this area of the body.
mm. Well, the back of the heart itself has that emblem of transformation with the butterfly there. So I'm seeing this butterfly pose with a double butterfly. So transformation, I'm seeing the transformation house. This one.
Also with that too, Leo also, ruling the heart, just this like transformation, letting go. Again, going back to that resistance and like I want to let go, but I don't know how, like transforming some sort of old hurt, like something associated with, that heart space.
Yes. Well, this is very powerful for the fire signs, because it's going to be some sort of trine or some sort of connection with the first house. So Saturn is moving forward. The spine itself representing, I would have to I would have to really think about that because I get Saturn when I think about bones in general, and he's moving
Mhm.
forward and he's in opposition to your first house, but that's also,
That more of that resistance, right?
yeah, which is other people in the space of other people, so more conjunct the descendant depending on where your ascendant is. So um allowing
Yes, I
the
mean,
heart space to be
like,
below, allowing the heart to be below, like your head to be below the heart and kind of bowing to your inner self, your higher self, and it's humbling. So for Leo to allow your heart to be in a place of surrender.
But then what you said too about, the opposition, like when we were first talking about the card, I was thinking more of like this inner resistance, but it can also be like resistance from other people, and usually when we experience hurt, like there's something, some other like person involved, like, typically it's not just like hurt that like spontaneously like appears.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
it's usually like relational. So yeah, it could be like also outside resistances as well.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think there's going to be a blossoming that will happen for Leo, and some relief as well after the Scorpio eclipse season. Okay, so we're going to move forward. Virgo, you're a Virgo rising.
Um,
So this is happening in the fourth place. So it's an angular house. Sagittarius is a double-bodied sign. So the volume is cranked up high by virtue of this new moon happening on an angular house. And so this is your private life, your private sphere. Is there new rituals that you're bringing in that assist you and other people, spouses, business partnerships? Have you wanted to have a safe space to meditate and ground and find those elements that we may be sitting on a gold mine, but we need to be quiet and dig into those private and deep parts of ourselves. um so that's what the fourth house is. It's this called the dark night of the soul. And so if you know your chart and you have any other planets there, if your IC is in this place, newness energy, that could be anything from clearing and cleaning your space and I make an altar every new moon. I get this sense of I want to clean up my space. I want to have a new altar for the month. So is there a beauty Venus, and a new way of doing that and expressing that? And is this going to create a foundation for 10th house matters and career, that will come to realization and full light during the full moon that's going to happen at the midpoint? So this new moon cycle connecting you, and you're getting resources from other people to help you with this. And darkness is increasing, but at the end of Sagittarius, the light will start to increase. So there's a bit of that energy coming through, as well.
Absolutely. I will pull a card for Virgo. See if we get any additional insights.
Yeah. Also travel for is there going to be travel for
Oh my God.
what do
You
you
just
see?
mentioned travel and I got a compass.
Oh my gosh.
So my inner compass knows the way. And I think that's just, following your true north, absolutely. Just going back to that authentic inner self and that inner voice and really following your intuition. And because there are flowers in this card, I'm just going to mention can also do so with the help of flower essences. If there's something that, whether it's hearing your intuition more clearly or any particular aspect of your life that you want to work on or you want to see an unfoldment, look up what it is that you're struggling with, and I guarantee you there's a flower essence for it.
Mm. As a Virgo rising, do you have any insight into this new moon cycle or any past new moon cycles for you, at this point in time, or anything intuitive at all that you can add?
Not so I was looking at this like from an objective one, so now it's kind of hard for me to like shift gears.
Oh, objective is fine too. Yeah, I was just like wanting to kind of
Yeah,
stir your intuitive pot.
immediately comes to mind. Just because I have would have to kind of shift gears and think of it from a personal perspective versus like a more collective perspective.
Hmm.
But I think the card holds true as far as like what I'm experiencing and like continuing to follow that true north and not not taking advantage of opportunities that don't feel right or don't feel in alignment. Like I'm really in a space right now where the path that I'm following is what feels like it's in alignment.
Oh, yeah. I think this connection between business partnerships and this teaching, like kind of Jupiterian inventive energy in the seventh house, and how that allows for expansion of this almost secure and like private realm. So for Virgo rising, this is a reminder that you are safe and that you can contemplate deeply, and that there is adventure, and maybe at this point the newness or new routines that help put you into this place will highlight and assist in career moves, or at least shine a light on what that means for career. So connecting the fourth, the seventh, and the 10th house
Yeah.
energy. So just being in awareness of um, other people, and that this Mars being in the 10th house can kind of give you this pressure to perform and to be very like, I need to get things done now, but we're going over. It's like kind of going backwards. So it's kind of this Gemini, like indecisive, like how do I move forward? How do I
Mhm.
also keep on track? So just a gentle reminder that um, things will be revealed at their own time, and the ruler of your 10th house is in exile at the moment. So it's okay not to know, not to know the answers, and that if you are getting mixed signals, that dig into the private, dig into meditation, and just uh, be as close to your heart as you need to be during these balsamic to new moon energies.
It's interesting. I taught a Virgo yoga flow last evening, and one of the affirmations was "I am safe." When you were talking about that, the safety,
Oh,
and then relating to this compass card, like one of the other affirmations was "My inner light guides my way." Um,
absolutely.
yeah, so I think just leaning into that Virgo energy.
Oh, I absolutely saw the connection between the fourth house matters and the inner compass, to give yourself some privacy, like shut your door, like, whatever you want to clear out, and think about adventure, think about how you want to be in alignment with other people in your career. So it's kind of like this, be in this darkness, but in the illumination of your inner light.
Yes, I love that.
All right. So we're going to move forward to Libra. So this is an interesting space for this new moon to come through, because this is the place of the moon's joy. So this is local travel. This is communication. It's related. Why? It's because the moon is the closest planet to Earth. And so it's short trips and situations like that. And having Venus there is a very fun, and it's connected to Mercury and its fall. Which I'm not in fall, but in exile. I wouldn't be too concerned about that, but I think it's sort of a fun and funny place for Mercury to be. Senses of humor, so fun, sense of humor, short like distance travel, kind of skills-based learning is another focus. Even it is a place where, there's pagan rituals as opposed to the ninth house, which is more like going to the Vatican, that sort of
Okay.
thing. So like connecting with a goddess energy, this is called the house of the goddess. So Libra, are you connecting with the goddess energy in a new way? Are there supportive Venusian friends, funny Venusian friends that will maybe suggest some sort of way to let loose and go on a trip and having a fun ride somewhere? And maybe it's connected to people that you work with because the dispositor Jupiter is in the sixth house. So um, Jupiter in the sixth can also be a very recuperating energy. So have you been um, resting or recovering and recuperating from something? And now is it time to kind of allow yourself some fun and some adventure? So the full moon energy that'll be coming into the ninth will be touching down with this Mercury in, sorry, Mars in a Mercury ruled sign Gemini, highlighting this third and ninth space by the midpoint in the month. So just
Yes.
allowing some fun and some funny people around.
Mhm. Energy is infectious. I mean, that's a great way to pep yourself up.
Oh, absolutely.
Naturally, if you've kind of been feeling a little down, like maybe these people are just meant to enter your life at this time to help you turn that around. All right, so the card we have here is I am of the earth and in harmony with nature. I don't know if you can see, but she has a furled up fern in her hand, and she's
Oh,
also laying next to a fern as well. Ferns have a very specific meaning in the flower essence world, and I don't, there's so many different flowers and plants that I don't know them all. I have quite a bit of knowledge in my head, but at this moment, it's me. So I'm gonna just really quickly look up just the symbolism of fern in terms of flower essences. I think it definitely has something to do with unfurling and coming into your own.
like
Um,
letting your hair down.
not so much letting your hair down, but just like kind of stepping into your, like coming into bloom, like this whole idea of like the fern, like unfurling. Um,
Oh, interesting.
um, just see what um, what comes up in the world of flower essence. Oh, the first link that I clicked on actually went to the Lotus Way page, which is one of several companies that sells high quality flower essences. And the very first thing, this is about eagle fern in particular. Eagle fern unfurls its tightly coiled fiddleheads during the springtime. So it's about this unfurling, uncoiling. But so this says that it's about magnifying internal resourcing, trusting your inner vision, step by step unfolding, and about dissolving fears of the unknown. So there are other sites. I'm not going to click on all the different links, but just to give you an idea of the flower essence association of the fern,
I
that
love that,
energy.
dissolving the fears of the unknown, because Sagittarius is very, very adventurous and kind of almost like having no fear and just setting off. And so I think that's a beautiful message for Libra, because if you're balancing, like, where do I go? What's the best move forward? How do I, it's also, the place where like Saturn is exalted. So there's some seriousness there. So this third house, new moon energy, I think
I
is,
think also the rigidity that can sometimes come along with Saturn, this flexibility of the fern and the coiling and the uncoiling, and just that adaptability.
yes, yes, I love that, especially as this is a new moon. We are experiencing the moon's phases, and this is the newness that is coming through and initiating a new cycle. And so
Mhm.
when there is a full moon in Sagittarius and Gemini, there's going to be some echo of this new moon and maybe some sort of realization that you can um, journal about and come back to and see where you were, how you were feeling, and just seeing if there's any themes that are connecting between those 6-month portals.
Mhm.
All right, so let's move ahead to Scorpio. All right, Scorpio. There's been tons of eclipses and energy happening for you, Scorpio. I I hope that this new moon happening in your second house brings forward some messages of positive money flow and, maybe even new ways that you nourish your body and maybe ritual around how and maybe having a nice plate, with a girlfriend or a Venusian being or a funny person that you can enjoy an amazing meal with to kind of reset for the month ahead and um, just really happy that this eclipse energy is now clear for you and hoping that there is some messages that involve fun and good money flow coming. And
Mhm.
as the full moon comes, this second and eighth house money messages again will be highlighted and um, this is averse to the first house, so maybe bringing some again consciousness to the how you nourish yourself again
Mhm.
and how that can support you during the winter months. And I'm excited to see, oh, also that this is also connecting you to fifth house matters. So second house and fifth house, what does that mean? It means that there's creative juice that's supporting this money matter, this new moon. Um, so teaching, maybe inventing something. This is also a place of entrepreneurial energy. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, creative ways of building a profit and that could come 6 months from now, but maybe there's Venusian characters that are assisting you with that and in a fun way. So I'm excited to see what Tabitha has for you,
Yes.
Scorpio.
What the cards have to share, Scorpio. Cards are saying a lot. Narrow it down to one here. They all want to jump out here. Oh my goodness, this is all about joy and fun.
Mm.
Movement awakens my creative spirit. It's a dancing, very Venusian energy. Having some issues with my background here.
Oh, nice.
It's a dancer, just swirling and twirling in front of a full moon, looking very joyful and just embracing that wild feminine energy. And if you're looking for ways to spark that creativity, dance and movement actually really are great avenues for getting more in tune with that energy in that area of the body, the sacral center. So
Oh, I love that, especially because Jupiter, the dispositor of this new moon, is in the place of Venus's joy. So this
mhm.
fifth house, music, and I mean, Jupiter touching down in this Pisces place, which is very musical, is just absolutely encouraging for allowing sound healing, sound energy to facilitate joy.
Mhm.
That is a
Yes, yes.
huge
The sound
message.
energy facilitating joy through movement. And then the physical movement then sparking like energetic and spiritual movement.
Oh, absolutely. How that's feeding you, like, because it's second house, feeding yourself with this, like, what you're intaking, what you're bringing in through your ears, and how that is. Yeah, I absolutely love that. There's
I mean, it's just like yoga. It's just another form of like clearing the energetic fields of your body.
Oh, I love that. And Scorpio, like you are getting this trine from Jupiter as well, um, from your first house. I mean, the South Node is hanging out there, which can be a little bit kind of it's Saturnine in quality, like kind of decreasing. So this node here can feel a little bit restrictive. So yeah, a reminder that movement is that you are free to move and release any energy and bring in the joy. Um, Jupiter and Pisces again is just such beautiful reminders of sound healing and that we are free.
Well, dance actually is also very grounding, you know. So you think about like the rhythm, like the feet, like hitting the earth and just making that connection. And when we ground, we center and we clear. So that makes us more receptive to information and energies coming in too. So
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, I love that for you, Scorpio. A little bit of relief from this eclipse season. There's one more next. That's it. All right. Okay. Sagittarius, this new moon is happening on your first house. So this is a very personal spot for you. And even if you are a Sagittarius sun or moon, this is still very intimate to you as well, the moon being the material body. So Venus in the first house, an uptick in charisma, exiled Mercury here, funny, the clown, the comic, maybe a tongue twister here or there. But um, I see this as a beautiful connection between your identity, having a new, like getting a new haircut or a new style, something that's adventurous, in terms of expression and how and voice. I highly recommend, even for, Scorpio, having Venus there, expressing yourself, voice, singing. And so this connection between the ruler of Sagittarius and your life ruler, Jupiter being in domicile doesn't happen all the time. Jupiter is in a sign about a year per sign. So
mm.
this is a rare happening for your life's um, helmsman to be in a place of high dignity. So this is encouraging a deep, soulful connection, maybe if having music as a way to anchor you into this deeply soulful and private place, um, allowing whatever sound or whatever music helps you dig in to this deeply um, intimate place. And there's going to be some channeling. There's Neptune here, Jupiter kind of expanding that. Won't connect directly with Neptune, but archetypally, there is going to be some communication between these two places. So, private life versus identity is the connection here, and just throughout the month, by the time the full moon comes, we'll be connecting with Mars in Gemini. So is there tension between business partnerships? Is there being conflict in your um, intimate relationships, and even on a business level, any kind of open enemies causing any conflict as well? Because there's going to be Mercury in his exile, kind of maybe causing a little bit of issue during the full moon. But in terms of this new moon for you, this newness and lovely energy with Venus and Mercury there, bringing a new fresh start to your mind, to even like your physical appearance as well. So I'm excited to see what the cards have to say for Sagittarius.
Mhm. It's interesting. I surrender to the power of prayer and devotion. I'll show you
Very
that. And
spiritual.
yeah, it's very spiritual. She's got a little moon on her forehead and hands together in some sort of mudra. Or actually, no, she's holding a cup. It looks like a mudra, right? But she's
Mm,
holding a cup. Um, and then what looks like a lotus flower.
mm,
Here as well. She's wearing like a veil. Yeah, interesting. I meditate on this card for a moment here.
I feel like that's like the Jupiterian energy really coming towards the forefront.
Mhm. I mean, I feel like it's interesting too that the placement of the moon is over the third eye, and the moon itself being associated with intuition. Um, so I almost feel like there's an aspect of like self-devotion, like devotion to the self, and like having that inner knowledge, like allowing that to come through, like surrendering, like looking outside of yourself for answers, and then just really like allowing that inner knowledge to come through.
Like you have everything that you need is inside of you. And it's
Mhm. And if
interesting too
you
that the
think of it
moon,
like that, she has like this veil, like it's not over her head. She's like, she's taken it off and it's like on her shoulders. So it's almost like this, like I'm coming into view type situation. Like because it's the first house, which is like about the self. So it's like this, I'm being seen. Like I know her head is down, but it's like this, I'm being seen, like I'm
and it
showing myself.
and it can be the head as well. So that's very interesting that the moon is directly on the head. And
Yeah.
what you said about inner knowledge, I mean, that really, and the wisdom, like that really spoke to Jupiter. And I mean, this could be very potent for channeling. And I mean,
Absolutely.
that moment that you close your eyes to meditate or to connect with your inner self or higher being, sacred self, whatever you want to call it, almost that I don't know if you connect with this, but if it's been a while since I've meditated and given myself quiet or, have taken in sound healing, that there's almost this like da 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 like before a movie begins and there's the credits and kind of like burst of, oh, this is what it feels like to connect with my power and the essence of who I am. And it could be very intimate and private and overwhelming. And then there's this kind of calm that can kind of come through and come in. So
Yeah, I mean, also like this idea of if you think of like prayer and devotion more in terms of like ritual, it's like things to quiet the mind. So like whether she's drinking tea or cacao or whatever it is that she's imbibing here in this card, but just maybe finding strength um in that too, like either in the herbs themselves of the tea or whatever it is that you're partaking in. But even just in the ritual of like helping the mind to quiet down so that you can listen by like going through these steps, like heating the water, like brewing the tea, sipping the tea.
smelling the aroma.
Mhm, mhm.
Oh, beautiful. All right. New adventures for self and connecting with the higher self, Sagittarius, and prayer, power of prayer. All right, Capricorn rising. This new moon energy is happening in a subtle place. It is connecting you to the third house, the place of the moon's joy. So this energy is very psychological in some realms of astrology. It could be um, messages or help from uh, therapy, psychologists. It could be known as the place of past lives, um, dreams. There's a couple of like ninth house is also dream divination, but how are your dreams at night um, connecting you to your third house visions and skills-based learning and communication? So subtle realm communication. So this subtle space requires us to be very still and quiet to access them, but that doesn't mean that it's not possible or it's not real. These are realities that we have to make intention and create space for tapping into. So this is kind of the reminder of our power to connect with our ourself in multiple forms, and the third house energy supplying this and being connected with Neptune as well can be very potent and powerful. So there may be messages from a teacher or a new spiritual teacher. I see this also with this new moon happening here, and goddess energy. Um, Jupiter being in Pisces, his home sign, but is also the exaltation place for Venus. So goddess energy and your dreams, and how does that connect with your visions? So there's dreams that we have that we go to sleep and we receive these images while we're asleep, but when we wake up, there's like Neptunian energy connected with Jupiter at this point in time. Can we bring those into reality? Can we bring that to our local community as well? And sixth house having this connection for the full moon that will be happening. Um, Mars is in his joy. Don't overwork and don't go into the past of like working too hard to a point where you lose this connection to your higher self or any kind of work that you're doing to heal as well.
Yeah,
So,
before, I'm sorry, were you done?
no, I'm done. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't want to interrupt. I thought you were, I just wanted to double check. So what was coming to me as you were speaking is actually also receiving messages from the ancestors through dream work. But I'm gonna pull a card and see what other information we get. Oh, wow. I am courageous, steady, and strong. A very strong Leonine energy here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. So let's see, what's going on with Leo in the chart here? Eighth house.
So I find that really interesting because I've been contemplating trines and the different connection between the houses.
Mhm.
And for example, the first, the fifth, and the ninth, um, how these three areas connect. And so 12th house matters, fourth and eighth, which is where the Leo is for Capricorn rising. It's just interesting that these are all subtle places and deeply, like, I mean, it touches down and forms a trine with the fourth house, which is, ancestral line. So
Yeah.
I just find it
Yeah,
really
that could
interesting.
definitely be. I think what's jumping out at me more than anything, though, this is a very spiritual line here. Is this whole like animal totem, um, animal medicine aspect, and going back to the dream work and just paying attention of whether it's a lion or whether it's something else, but paying attention to the animals that show up in your dream and what message they're meant to bring you, from the spirit realm, because there are messages in everything, whether it's, the bird that flew in front of you as you're walking to your car, or the type of flower that's growing in front of your front door. If we stop and pay attention and look at the meanings behind these things, that can be extremely helpful.
Oh, absolutely. And that's how it was explained to me, like how transits were explained to me when I was learning astrology, is that imagining that these planets are a bird or a person or a being that crosses our path when we're
Wow.
in nature.
Look at that.
Yeah. So did that, and it takes courage to go into these darker places of the soul and to find messages and to find solace in ourselves. Because there's so much of like, I need to seek out to find assistance in the places that are difficult to see. And
Mhm.
sometimes um we can be told something many times or told what to do. Um, and it really only connects when we go on that journey ourselves. And just this is the encouragement that you have the courage to heal and to seek out, goddess energy in support of this. Um, and the lion energy is just absolutely beautiful because it's the warm heart. And
Mhm.
it being in I mean, it's bringing in this eighth house energy as well. So if you have eighth house planets, but if we're just thinking about intuitively what that means, is that,
Yeah.
is there a block? Is there a letting go? Can we, can we connect with this transformative energy? Is there a small death that would benefit us
Mhm.
to transform?
And I think also, having the courage to face and embrace, going back to this idea of dream work and lucid dreaming, and you know, different dreams can be interpreted in many different ways. I don't want to get into dream interpretation because we could
Yeah.
be speaking for a long time, but I used to have this dream when I was younger. It wasn't always a lion. Sometimes it was other things, but a lot of times it would be like this lion would be chasing me, and I'd be like trying to get into these different apartment buildings to like get away from this like animal that was after me. And now, that I'm older, I have dreams where I am, walking with these power spirit animals. And a lot of times there'll be a lion, a tiger, and a panther, like a trinity of like big cats like walking with me. And so again, like interpretations are up for interpretation, but someone once told me that like these dreams where you're running away from a power animal, it's almost like you're running away from your inner power, like you're afraid to like face your own power or something along those
Mm,
lines. And so just like understanding like the power of lucid dreaming and being able to like take control of it. Sometimes dreams are messages too. So like I'm not saying like there are different types of dreams. But so without like going down that rabbit hole, just like the power of like being able to like face and embrace and like change the nature of like what is in the dream.
yeah, that makes me think about Blue Lotus and the Blue Lotus flower, about like connecting with like your dreams for Capricorn rising as well. Hmm. If you want to connect and open yourself up to more dreams during this new moon phase.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm not gonna get too much into this, but my last like few nights of dreams have been crazy.
Mm.
I don't know if it's still eclipse energy or what, but yeah, I'm ready for some like
I would
better
say
dreams.
yes, because I'm opposite you as a Pisces rising, and my dreams were so vivid and like it's not, it's something I'm like usually prepared for, because like I'm used to like the regular like kind of way that I feel after a dream, and these have been way more intense than usual. So dream
Wow.
work for you, Capricorn rising, and the healing and connection and courage that's needed to facilitate your movement forward and healing. Let's move ahead. Oops, there we go. Aquarius. So this is happening in the 11th house, community, um, and the place of Jupiter's joy. So this is connecting and being, you're getting resources from Jupiter in the second house. And it's this final, like, kind of blessing from Jupiter of gains to entrepreneurial endeavors that may have been a thought or a process that maybe you're finally getting your feet on the ground and running. So fun and community, Venusian and funny people. Again, I'm saying that like Mercury and a double-bodied like Jupiterian sign, often hilarious people. So is there going to be a community gathering that may even give you a money boost? It's visibility, it's a new sense of optimism being the 11th house. And um, I mean, Saturn is moving direct now and has been on your ascendant. So has there been this sage-like energy that has been a part of your story for the last 2 years about that is now moving forward, and uh, can you embrace that, and can that be brought into this story? And the full moon that's going to be happening will be in your fifth house, so the place of Venus's joy. So Mars making his stay in this placement, as has there been like somewhat of a conflict in has there been a block with creative energy, or maybe a drive that you've wanted to connect with that now you're going over details and maybe have some sort of indecision about um, during this Mars retrograde period of time. So I would say dig into the goodness and joy of friends, and um, embrace this Jupiterian boost to your second house during this time.
Very nice. Let's see what the cards have to say. So I'm just gonna give two for this one because two kind of jumped out. So one is the I am the weaver of my reality. It's a spider in a web.
Oh, interesting. That's very community. I find that
It is. Absolutely. And then we have I have unlimited potential and claim my purpose. All I need is within me. I feel like this has been a kind of a thread throughout the evening that we've had a lot of this like embracing your inner power and your like trusting yourself, inner knowing. Um,
mm,
that I feel like that's kind of been a theme throughout all of these signs. And in the spider really like also being another representation of the divine feminine energy as well.
mm. And I love that trust that when you think about Sagittarius and that energy, when you pull the arrow back and you're focusing and going forward, there really isn't fear. There's this trust that wherever you're going, it's to expand for the purpose of expanding. I haven't like spoken this out loud ever before, but I think about like Sagittarius energy like on a video game map when you're playing a game and like the map expands. Like
Uh-huh.
Sagittarius is like expanding the map for the point of the map being exposed and like kind of like moving forward, and
Yeah.
that sense of adventure and playfulness that Sagittarius has. So looking for playful new energy in the community, and um Can you repeat the cards for me one more time?
So the little mantras on the cards or messages, the one with the spider is I'm the weaver of my reality. So
Ah,
just
okay.
taking active role in what comes next. Like what we do in this moment creates the next moment.
Mm,
And like realizing that we have the power to not say that we should like try to control everything, but just this like we are creating our reality by the actions that we take in this moment, like is going
mm,
to create the future moment, right? And then at least that's my interpretation. And then I have unlimited potential and claim my purpose. All I need is within me. And I almost feel like this card is a precursor, even though I pulled this card first. I feel like the realizing your unlimited potential is almost a precursor to like shaping your reality, because you have to first realize that you have power and purpose, and everything that you need is within you in order to do this. Like I can weave my own reality.
ah,
I can
absolutely.
create opportunities for myself. I can shift, change, transform relationships, transform my circumstances by the decisions that I make in this moment.
Oh, I love that. I see like also for like sorry, for Aquarius rising, that this final like touchdown of Jupiter in the second house, like the power of the voice and
Mhm.
connecting with spirit and being able to spread that, and how that may come into the story with the community and sharing that. Um, Even though Jupiter will be like leaving that space, it's very impactful that during this new moon energy, this supportive energy, that this imprint of Jupiter in this space for you over the past year will leave an imprint. And there's going to be something to remember during this time, that you do have the power of your voice, you have the ability and ability to weave and to channel power and be able to express that um, with the support of community. And I just think that's really lovely. And this 11th and 5th house energy for the full moon, there'll be more to come and to express when we do a full moon take as well. So laugh, have fun, and just kind of allow the balsamic into like the new moon energy to rest and contemplate these elements for the month ahead. Okay, last but not least, we have Pisces rising. There's going to be some Jupiter blessings coming through for your 10th house as well as in the first house. We've had about a good portion of this year with Jupiter blessing our first house and expanding, maybe, expansion of the body. That could be weight gain of some sort. But in general, there's going to be this final boost of wisdom and expansion and even spiritual, musical inspiration that ties into 10th house matters. And 10th house can be public image, your career, how people see you in your public image. And there's going to be some Venusian adventure energy, some blessings from a very positive, benefic, maybe a woman, and even some jokester energy coming into your 10th house space, or maybe harnessing some of that fun and joy in the 10th house. And there are elements that are going to tie into your fourth house of your ancestral line as well when the new moon becomes the full moon near the midpoint of uh, December. So there's a lot of forward motion with Saturn as well. Pluto is going forward, and there's some mitigation with some of that Mars and Gemini, because there are some more forward moving planets. And I mean, the fourth house with Mars there is their construction and maybe conflict that's been going on in the fourth house, and maybe even ancestral healing or prominence. Um, but a big message is that your identity is fueling this 10th house energy, this newness in the 10th house. And it's inspired, you are tapped into your inner wisdom. Your helmsman, the Lord of your lifetime, Jupiter, is in is on the steering wheel and is imprinting this time to help move you forward. And I would love to hear what the cards have in store for this
Exciting.
message for the new moon.
No, I didn't want to interrupt your flow, but I hope that there wasn't too much noise in the background just now.
No,
Oh, I've sequestered myself in here, and earlier my cat was sleeping, but now she's awake and she was just like pounding the door and meowing. So I was like, oh my gosh, poor Callie. But if you didn't notice it, then it's all good.
I did not.
Dear viewers, if you hear something in the background, that's what it was. So, all right. Yeah, I feel like that Venus energy in the 10th house also just be like Venusian themes going into whatever is going on, maybe something like really pleasurable regarding a new job opportunity or the work you're already doing.
Absolutely.
Let's see what the cards want to share with us. Okay, I am ready. Thank you. It is a full moon. There looks to me almost like stars going around the moon. Like when people do like that open capture photography, you know how like things get swirly.
Yeah.
Not sure if open capture is the right term, but you know what I'm talking about. Um, but yeah, it's a here, I'll show you the card if you can see it. It's a figure of a woman in her Venusian glory, just like arms wide back. Like I'm ready, I claim it, I step into it. Thank you for this opportunity. Something coming to completion, something coming to fruition. And yeah, I mean, I think it's centering around career, since we are talking about the 10th house. There's something like really beautiful that's getting ready to either present itself or an experience that the Pisces is stepping into.
Oh, I love that. I'm feeling this um almost very loud Venusian uh characters coming through with the intuitive readings that you've been giving and how that's been woven in to
Mm.
um the prominence of this reading. She she is under the beams. However, she's just entered into Sagittarius today on the 16th. So
Okay.
she's just she is the one that is ushering in and like kind of the first to show up on the scene. So even before the sun and Mercury enter, um she's kind of priming this space and having a conversation with Jupiter, and is in much better condition in Sagittarius than when she was in Scorpio in her exile. So she's kind of having her own little party
Yeah,
right
I say
now in the 10th house.
there's freedom to this card. It's almost like I can soar now.
Oh yeah, and Venus in Sagittarius loves to go on adventure and to have open arms and embrace movement and change, and is ready. It is ready for those challenges. So this full moon, because there's been also like funny enough a lot of full moon energy symbols. And
Mhm.
so this
Cards,
the cards, yeah.
for sure,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot pointing to this Gemini full moon. So when that full moon does hit, thinking back to the new moon in Gemini period, and any fruition, or just thinking back if there was anything that you were hoping for or connecting with in terms of like ancestral line and healing that has to do with that, or connecting, if there was any kind of longing for that time, seeing if there's anything that's coming to connect you with the deep roots of your chart.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and just like just claiming it, just stepping into it, you know.
Yes, you have everything you need, and your helmsman is here for you at this time. And I mean, there is that Mercury in Sagittarius vibe that's happening. I mean, Jupiter is in excellent condition in his own space and
Yeah.
can provide. So you can take whatever recognition that's very 10th house, public recognition, any awards or starting of things that involve help from female and magical beings.
Well, you know what else? What other kind of vibes are coming from this is that whole idea of leap and the net will appear, you know?
Ah, oh
That
yeah, that's such a Sagittarian thing too. It's like the
yeah.
arrow goes back and has trust that it's going
Mhm.
to land where it needs to. And Sagittarius, double-bodied, the archer, part wild, part human. So there is this wildness that Sagittarian energy has, and to expand boundaries, and Jupiter and the wisdom that's coming through. Um, this is a beautiful time to imprint and to remember um, spiritually. It's how to connect to your inner power and your wisdom, and um, that you have everything and you're ready. So I
Right.
think that's absolutely beautiful. And I just want
Absolutely.
to thank you, Tabitha. I'm just going to stop the share. This was our new moon in Sagittarius video. There's more to come,
Yes.
and
Love
we cannot
collaboration.
wait. Yeah, we can't wait to collaborate more. And thank you for watching, and like and subscribe.
Bye.